All right, everybody. So today we're going to talk about why Maine lobsters are the best lobsters in the world. So there's a bunch of different types of lobsters in the world. You got like the rock lobsters, there's Japanese lobsters, there's crayfish, which isn't a lobster, but it looks like a little baby lobster kind of. And that's just a whole nother story. But Maine lobsters, let's get back to Maine lobsters. So Maine lobsters are the best lobsters in the world. And they have this, if you haven't had lobster before, you got to try it. They got like a sweet, tender meat in them. And the biggest reason as to why Maine lobsters taste so good is because of the Maine ocean water. So the Maine ocean water, it's cold. Growing up as a kid, you don't really get in the water. I grew up on the coast of Maine, so when you go to the beach, it's tough to get in the water because the water's so cold. You don't get in the ocean until probably about July and August, and then the other 10 months of the year, it's just ice cold. You don't want to go in that water. But that cold water makes it so that the lobsters grow and develop slower, and it makes the meat sweeter and tender for them. So the cold water slow down their growth. The other thing is the Maine Ocean. It's a very clean water. We have nice, clean oceans in Maine. We take good care of our waters up in Maine. We pride ourselves on having clean ocean water. And that's just the ideal environment for lobsters to grow in. Let me see what else. Yeah, Maine's also known for our sustainable fishing practices. We have rules and regulations that limit what size the lobsters have to be. So the reason why this makes it so that our lobsters taste better is because the massive lobsters that are 100 years old, they're not going to taste as good as a smaller lobster that's maybe 5 to 10 years old. The meat it's like rubbery. I've had those massive old lobsters before. I don't like to eat them. They've been in the ocean for 100 years. They've survived without being caught for 100 years. Let them be. And the other thing, the meat just isn't as good tasting. So the meat's going to have like a little bit rubbery of a taste. It's not going to be as sweet. Sometimes you see people on the internet, they buy these massive lobsters. And it's like, come on, man, you're doing it wrong. You got to get the small 1.5 pound lobsters. That's the sweet spot. They're nice and sweet. They're going to have more flavor in them. Another reason why Maine is known for lobsters is because it's such a big part of our culture. If you ever come up to Maine, you're gonna see restaurants with lobster on the sign. There's actually a lobster where I grew up. There's a restaurant where I grew up, and it's called the Taste of Maine in Woolwich, Maine. I grew up in Bath, so that's the next town over. And they have the claim to fame of having the largest lobster roll in the world. It's 2 feet long. And on top of the building, they have this massive inflatable lobster, probably like 100 feet long. I'll see if I can find a picture of it. So in Maine, it's a big part of tradition. We also have like lobster festivals. We have lobster boat races. So imagine like a NASCAR race. Not quite a NASCAR race. They're not going around in circles, but some towns will have lobster boat races to see which lobster boat's the fastest. It's just a good time. Everybody gets together, hangs out, and just has fun. But yeah, so lobsters for Maine, best tasting lobster in the world. If you haven't tried them, come check us out at overnightmainelobster.org. First time buyers use code LOBSTER. That's how the Mainers say lobster. We say lobster. LOBSTAH. Use that for your first purchase. Save 10% off your first order at overnightmainelobster.org. If you have any questions about why Maine lobster is the best tasting lobster, comment below. And make sure to subscribe for more content about Maine lobsters.